Hi, we are Compilo and this video is regarding the interview questions of SQL. Types of keys in a database. So basically keys are an attribute or set of attributes that help us in identifying a row in a table. They allow us to find the relationship between two tables, and keys help in finding unique rows or records in a table. So I have documented 9 keys here. So first is super key, then we have primary key, candidate key, unique key, alternate key, foreign key, composite key, compound key, and surrogate key. So if we talk about super key, it is a group of single or multiple keys which identify rows in a table. When it comes to primary key, it is a column or group of columns that uniquely identifies each row of a table. Okay. Next is candidate key. So basically candidate key is a super key with no repeated attributes. And if I talk about unique key, so unique key is similar to primary key, but it allows one null value. And by default, it creates non-clustered index on a heap table. Next is alternate key, which is column or group of column that uniquely identifies every row in one table. Okay, next is foreign key. Foreign key is a column that creates relationship between two tables. It maintains the data integrity. Next is composite key. Composite key is a candidate or primary key that consists of more than one attribute. Next is compound key. Compound key has two or more attributes to allow us to uniquely recognize a specific record. And next is surrogate key. Surrogate key is the value generated right before a record is entered. Next question is, what are the types of indexes in SQL? So we can answer them in clustered and non-clustered index, but you must have heard about column stored index, filtered index, hash index, and unique index. So let's discuss all of them. So if we talk about clustered index, it defines the order in which we store data physically. And if we can have only one clustered index per table. Also, in SQL Server, primary key constraint creates clustered index. When we talk about non-clustered index, it doesn't sort the data which is physically stored in the table. And these are stored at different location than the physical table. Also, this index contains the column values on which the index is created and the address of the record that the column value belongs to. Okay, now when we talk about last four indexes, so next is column store index, which are the standard for querying or storing large data warehouse fact tables. This index uses column based data storage, and from SQL Server 2016 onwards, these indexes provide operational analytics. If we talk about filtered index, they were introduced in SQL Server 2008. Also, it is an index with a where clause. Basically, it is an optimized non-clustered index. Next is hash index. Hash index was introduced in SQL Server 2014. These are for memory optimized tables. Actually, it is an array of n buckets or slots where each one contains a pointer to a row. And we have to use a hash function to implement hash index. When we talk about unique index, it ensures that the index key column doesn't contain any duplicate value. Also, a unique index can be clustered or non-clustered. Along with that, they can be on single column or multiple columns. Next is, what is set statistics IO? Basically, it depicts the amount of disk activity generated by transact SQL statement. The syntax would be set statistics IO on, and then after processing our SQL statement, we can turn it off. As per the official docs, SQL Server utilities interpret Go as a signal that they should send the current batch of transact SQL statements to an instance of SQL Server, and that is why we have used Go here. Next is what is schema binding. See, with schema binding, we bind the object to the schema of all the underlying tables and views. Underlying tables or views can't be modified if it affects the definition of the schema bound object. Also, we can't drop the underlying objects. As long as we don't affect the definition of the schema bound objects like views or functions, we can modify those tables or views. Moreover, we can reference a view or function in a schema bound object, view or function, only if the underlying view or function is also schema bound. Along with that, if the database contains schema bound objects, we can't change its collation. If we talk about the syntax, we can use schema binding like this: create view, my view name, and then with schema binding. Okay. Now, in this question, you will understand why I discussed schema binding. So, indexed views. To create an indexed view, first we need to create a view with schema binding option, and after this, we create an index on view. So basically, standard or non-indexed view is just a stored SQL query. When we try to retrieve data from the view, the data is actually retrieved from the underlying base table. Basically, view is just virtual table with no stored data. When we create an index, it gets materialized. Okay. So the first index created on a view needs to be a unique clustered index, and later we can create non-clustered indexes. So these were quite a few interview questions which I wanted to discuss with you, and in case you encounter any of them, you can answer them easily. Thank you.